Hi guys, good afternoon. I hope my beautiful viewers are having a wonderful afternoon today. I'm actually going to go further into details. I did post a quick video on my social media page where I'm talking about electrical outage and cellular services and a few things that are actually getting ready to happen. Huge earthquakes are actually coming this weekend. But once again, today's date is March 18th, 2026. Spring break, actually. Interesting time during spring break. I'm here in Florida, and it get kind of crazy where I was reading an article where actually they were actually having shooting in Daytona Beach, and I was like, wow, welcome to spring break. It is what it is. These are the things that we go through in Florida whenever we're having these events. I don't go to spring break. I don't care for spring break, but I'm just going to throw this into it and let you know what comes with dealing with spring break. Basically, it is what it is. Now, also, I am going to be talking about the the electrical blackouts and also the cellular services and the big quakes. But before I jump into that, I just want to mention a few things that's going on. I would say on a global scale, we're having some serious gas prices, and not just gas prices, guys. Airlines are actually canceling their flights, a lot of them, and this is due to the fact that the oil, the petroleum, or the gas that these airplane uses are getting kind of expensive. Believe it or not, a friend of mine told me that the airplane gas is actually a lot closer to kerosene than the gasoline they use in the car. I'm just gonna take his word for it because he spent time in the Air Force, so that's where I'm gonna take his word for it from there. Now, again, we're having some serious electromagnetic disturbances this coming weekend, guys. You're gonna see a lot of it start from like around Friday, where we're gonna see some serious situation going on with the grid. A lot of people are gonna wake up on the weekend and they're not gonna have any electricity. I hate to say it like that, but I just want to be as transparent as I possibly can. And again, guys, I'm not here to spread fear. This is not the point. That's not the point why I do these videos. I just want to bring awareness to people and let people know what's about to happen and kind of give them a heads up where they can have a leverage on these situations. Basically, that is the whole point why I do this video, guys. Is to inform people, and I do believe once people get informed, get knowledgeable of certain situation that's about to unfold, it give them chance to prepare, where they can prepare themselves and their family, and to to better handle the situation. That's the main reason I'm talking about this, because as I said before, today's March 18th, 2026. So basically, you'll see this happen. Today's Wednesday, so you see this start happening like around March 20th to like around March 23rd to 24th. It's gonna happen like for around 3 to 4 days, where you're gonna see a certain part of the grid around the world, not just one location, where there are gonna be some situation where you guys are gonna have blackouts, basically, meaning no electricity. So don't panic at all. And one of the main reasons why I'm doing this video is because if you live in an urban area where you have a lot of people, this is something I talk about all the time when it comes to when I've been doing these episodes. I explain to people, listen, make sure that people in your household have a bug out bag, guys. A bug out bag. I can't stress this enough. I've done numerous episodes on this, what you should have in it. I don't really want to go into it in this video here at all. I just want to, remind you, it's something that you want to keep working on, and you can add new things to it. You can take certain things out of it that you don't really think you need anymore, or always work on your bug out bag. Always add new item. Let me give you like an example. You're gonna need stuff like military compass, topographic map. A topographic map is what you're going to need because it give you where you're going to have high grounds, lower grounds, and so forth. It give you a nice layout of the land. So once again, the map you need is a topographic map. You need three different types of clothing, which is wet, dry, and cold in earth colors. Rope, you're gonna need magnesium starter kit for fire, pot to purify water, a knife, tarp you can use as bed. You want to wear boots. You want to keep your group small as possible. You want to inform people on your plans, everyone in your group. Each person in your household should have a bug out bag and so forth. So this is basically the breakdown of what you should have in your bug out bag. Because a bug out bag is going to come in handy when you have to deal with an electrical outage, especially if you live, as I said before, in urban areas. Because this is how it's normally unfold, and I'm actually writing a few things more on the situation when you have a grid down situation in, for example, a city. After 72 hours, people are going to get hostile, which is 3 days. Once again, guys, I'm not trying to spread fear. I'm just here to make people aware. After 3 days of not having electricity in a major city that's highly populated, people are going to get restless, people are going to get hostile, and they normally end up start doing some very stupid stuff. The whole point of having a bug out bag is so that if you live in an urban area around a lot of people, you're going to need a bug out bag. If you live out in the rural area where you're not surrounded by people, you really don't need to go anywhere. So, but I do recommend that you do get a bug out bag also, because you never know what's going to happen. But you really don't need to go anywhere. The ones that actually need to move whenever when the grid go down, when they have an electrical outage, are the folks that are in urban areas that are around a lot of people. They need to figure out where they need to put themselves and their family for themselves to be safe. One of the best advice I can give these people is you actually want to move, you want to go where there is no one. You want to go towards the rural area and make sure that before you go anywhere, you already have a destination in mind. So if I was you right now, I would start to make a plan on where I would go if I need to get out from where I'm at in the city and take my family to be safe. So you already have to have that in the back of your mind. You got to share that location with everyone in your household and everyone in your group. They all got to know, basically. All right. So these are the steps that I encourage my viewers to take. So it can make their life so much easier when dealing with a grid down scenario. And another thing too, what I see happening is that you're going to also have cellular services outage where you can't really communicate with each other. Because as I said, what we're dealing with right now is electromagnetic disturbances that we're having with Earth. It's messing with our electromagnetic field. And again, people are going to ask me, how do you know this? Folks, don't worry about how I know. All you need to know is that I know. That's it. I've been doing this for a while, and I can say proudly that pretty much all my prediction that I've been saying has unfolded. So I can say this confidently that coming this weekend, around the 20th to the 24th, we're going to have electrical outage. We're going to have cell phone services disturbances and some big earthquakes. Now, the way you can handle a cell phone service disturbances is that in your immediate group, you could have two-way walkie-talkie. Because even though the cell phones might be down, you still can communicate if you have some form of walkie-talkie and they're on the same channel. So that is something I would want to add to my bug out bag items that I'm putting together. walkie-talkie, because it would help with communication issue, because we're not just going to have electrical outage, we're going to have cell phone services that it actually start giving a lot of people trouble. And as I said, this won't be just in one location. This is actually going to be global. We're going to see some big quakes too. We're going to see big quakes happening in the Caribbean, guys. Huge quakes is coming for the Caribbean. Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, Punta Cana, Cuba is going to see some really, really, really big quakes. And I see quakes also coming for the eastern part of the North American continent. Potentially places like New Jersey, New York, between New York and Eastern Canada. Part of Canada that I see getting hit is Montreal, Quebec, Ottawa, and Toronto. Maine have a possibility of getting hit. I see an uptick on the San Andreas Fault Line, Northern California, and also the Cascade Subduction Zone. You're going to see huge quakes happening at the tip of Alaska, the southern part of it. We find the Aleutian Islands. Japan, you're going to see some big quakes. Taiwan, Philippines. Indonesia, you'll see some quakes. And also from Fiji going all the way down to New Zealand, between those two locations, huge quakes. And over in Europe, over there in Greece, you see an uptick at the southern tip of Athens. But once again, guys, huge quakes coming for the Caribbean. So I'm putting the Caribbean on P's and Q's and putting you guys on notice right now that the coming days, you guys are going to see some big earthquakes, especially around Cuba. You got Punta Cana, southern part of Puerto Rico, and also the British Virgin Islands. I'm just preparing you guys, and I want you guys to get ready. All right? We live in a very, very interesting times. And once again, guys, in this episode, I want to throw in there that give you guys some tips. One of the best things you could do to prepare yourself for an earthquake, I know there's an earthquake coming. You need a glass of water, something you can actually see through, so you can actually see the level of the water. Once the level of the water start to move, you're going to know that, hey, something is not right. If the level of the water is moving, the ground is not leveled anymore. So there's an earthquake. Now, I would suggest that you also want to do a little bit of research yourself. You also want to start Googling first aid kit that you should have during an earthquake. What section of the house you want to go into. They said one of the safest places you could go is between the door hinge, where you just open up the door and stand between the door hinge. It's one of the safest places, or underneath a table. A strong table, by the way, not just a weak table. Under a strong table is one of the safest places you could go. These things that you need to also, put a little bit of due diligence in, put a little bit of time in, some research, and you want to stock up on like canned foods. You want to stock up on water. I think you should have, honestly, each person should have at least 60 to 70 gallons of water stocked up in their house. I know it sounds crazy. I believe each person deserves to be drinking a gallon of water a day. So if you have anywhere between 60 to 70 gallons, you will have a steady water supply for at least 30 to 40 days. And then that should give you enough time or adequate time to figure things out to where you want to go with your next step when it comes to getting drinking water. So, as I said, each person should have anywhere between, I would say, 50 to 60 gallons of water in their house, even 70 gallons of water. Because the body can, after 3 days, the body needs water. We can live without food for 21 days. But you do need to have some canned food in your house. Canned vegetable, if you want to have canned meat. The reason why I say canned food is because these food are they can last a lot longer than anything else. You can keep them for quite a while, and you go according to what you want to eat. You could not have spam and stuff like that. I suggest you stock up on that on them. Canned meat, canned vegetables, canned fruits. Try to have at least 30 to 40 days also of food supply somewhere in your house that you'll use in case of an emergency. And what I always suggest to people, yes, when you buy food, guys, it's critical thinking here. I've had somebody say, hey, I'm going to buy food and just put it in the corner and don't eat it. Don't do that. If I'm going to buy canned food, I will buy, I like Spam. I'm going to buy a lot of Spam. But even though I don't have an emergency, I know in my head, if I need to eat some stuff, there's Spam in the garage. So when my supplies start going down, I will pack it back up and be like, okay, I have food again to keep me in case if something go wrong. So I eat stuff from my stock of food that I'm stocking up. I suggest that you eat out of it, but you always replenish your supply. So the whole point of what I'm trying to say is buy stuff that you don't mind eating once or twice or maybe 3 times a week in canned products, canned veggies, canned meat, any form of canned meat, canned fruits and stuff like that. But you always keep that supply stock anywhere between 30 to 40 days full of product. So every time you take something from it, you replenish it. And I always advise you, eat the stuff that's about to expire first. So you always want to look at the can, and I categorize them where the stuff that are going to expire first is in one box. So you got to categorize it like that. So you use the food properly, efficiently. You're not wasting your money. That's another way to approach these things. And again, another thing I want you guys to have in your comfort of your house is I said water, I've said food. What else? Battery. Have some battery. First aid kit. Flashlight. You want to have a flashlight in your house also when you're dealing with electrical outages and stuff like that. Even earthquakes. You're also going to need battery for that too. And you're also going to need an emergency radio where you can actually, let's just say, worst case scenario, the entire grid go down. So you have some form of AM radio where you can actually listen to any form of broadcasting and so forth. Because when the entire grid go down, keep in mind, there's not going to be any TV. There's not going to be any cell phone. There's not going to be any emergency service. There's not going to be any 911 call. There's not going to be any of those. The ambulance, none of that is going to happen for you. So you got to stay in the loop with what's really happening. So having some form of, I would say, AM radio to listen to any form of broadcast is a good thing to have. All right. So that's why I just want to make this quick video here for my viewers to let them know. I went further into details because I also make a quick episode on my other social media platform to do a quick review of what I'm talking about here. But in this video, I decided to go further into details of how you should be doing these things. And pretty much that's about it. I just want you guys to know in the coming days, electrical outage, it's going to be whatever. Things are going to unfold, but I'm not saying it's going to be extremely bad. I'm just letting you know it's coming, and I'm also explaining to you ways you could prepare yourself for these disasters so you don't fall short, so you and your family will survive. And again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Ciao.